さて皆様、お待たせいたしました。それでは引き続きまして基調講演に移らせていただきます。本年は観光で地域創生をテーマにお送りいたします。なおこちらの基調講演は国連世界観光機関のご協力を得て開催いたします。それではまずはじめに国連世界観光機関 UNWTO 事務局長ズラム・ポロリカシュビリ様よりご講演をいただきます。ポロリカシュビリ事務局長、よろしくお願いいたします。Mr. ポロリカシュビリ、please.
皆さん、おはようございます。私はズラ・ポロリカシュビリ UNWTO 事務局長です。20年前、日本語を勉強しました。少しわかります。続きまして、英語に出せます。Good morning, all dear friends, dear ministers, high representatives from tourism sector. First of all, I want to express our deepest condolences regarding what's happened and what's happening in Osaka. We are very far from Japan, but believe us that always we are in our minds and our hearts are with Japan, with families who were affected by this tremendous natural disaster. Count on our full support, and again we are here to be with you always. As it was mentioned today, we have very important and very interesting agenda with Japan. In upcoming 2 years, we will have such big events like Rugby World Cup, like T20 meeting, the same format like G20 meeting for tourist ministers. We have very important event dedicated to culture and tourism organized by UNWTO and UNESCO in Kyoto, which will be one of the most important events in culture. I remember Tagawa-san yesterday told me that 35 or 40 years ago, the most important message Japan wanted to deliver in the tourism sector, it was to stress and to orient more on digital transformation and innovation. Next year it will be absolutely totally another message, which is to promote tourism and culture together. We are very grateful for your support, dear Minister Ishii. It was a pleasure and it's a great honor to have you today's our event. Your portfolio proves that Japan sees tourism as a policy priority that, like infrastructure and transport, can create innovation and sustainable societies and economies. UNWTO has an office in Japan, and we are pleased to be here to strengthen our partnership. Dear Mr. Tagawa-san, Japan is a strong and committed supporter of tourism. We hope many nations will follow Japan's example, but put tourism at the core of their plans for national development and international cooperation. Dear Gloria Guevara, dear friend, thank you for your continued support and cooperation. Our organizations enjoy a long-standing partnership, and I'm grateful to be working with you and to advance our sector. I'm sure that we will make very interesting projects together, and to thank you again for full support always. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I congratulate the winners of this year Japan Tourism Awards. I'm pleased to be here prospecting the World Tourism Organization. I think this kind of event, it's very important to give entrepreneurs, young generation to be motivated and to deliver us new ideas. And it was excellent initiative, and I'm sure that upcoming years we will continue the tradition. In 2017, there were more than 1.3 billion international tourist arrivals. But it's not enough for tourism just to grow. We must grow better. We must make tourism about quality and quality of life for people and communities. The Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development sets the backdrop, and its 70 Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint of our future. Around the world, tourism accounts for 10% of GDP and jobs is the third biggest export sector. We need to make sure that tourism lives up to its economic responsibility, to provide better lives and better opportunities. This is why UNWTO is advancing some key priorities for the sector. We must make tourism smarter by investing in innovation and technology that helps us better manage our social, cultural, and environmental impacts. We must support investments in small and medium-sized enterprises and entrepreneurs, who are our leading innovators and job creators. As we saw, we had more than 200 participants in that competition. Again, it supports innovation and new ideas and new technologies in tourism, which make smarter and more comfortable the stay of our sector, the tourists worldwide. And we must improve skills, education and specialized training on the ground to create more and better jobs. We are also looking for a meaningful partnership to create a stronger and more united global tourist community. With the great strength that comes from all of us in partnership, we can make tourism a policy priority, a knowledge and innovator and sector of maximum value for all. To provide this value for all, we have to work closer together. Our world and our sector are ever more connected, informed and outward looking. Travelers come from more socio-economic backgrounds than ever before. The tourism sector reached into more communities than ever before in fast-growing and established economies. In this hyper-connected age, we can use tourism global reach to bring the widest possible range of benefits of tourists and locals. We have engaged better with host communities and respond to their expectations. We have to strengthen connections between local and central governments and public and private sector to ensure investments in the right places. Doing this should mean that tourism does not just give economic results, but also leads to less poverty, more equality, peace and justice, and more sustainability in local and regional tourism. It should also boost innovation, which is a priority of our organization and the focus of this year's World Tourism Day, which we'll celebrate next Thursday, September 27th. By the way, as you know, we announced month and a half ago our competition in innovation in tourism, and received more than 3,000 projects, which is unbelievable because we really honestly didn't expect it, and we are looking forward that all these new ideas, 2,000 new business models will travel all around the world, and Japan will be the country who will support and who will support because Japan is one of the most advanced countries in the world in new technologies and innovation and digitalization. The city continues to match tradition with innovation. Tokyo, Waterfront City and the Innovation Complex at Shibuya Station are the latest examples. They can inspire us to find innovative ways to help create long-term sustainability in tourism. Let us advance the goal together this week. I thank you and wish you a productive expo. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
コロリカシュリー事務局長より講演いただきました。ありがとうございました。それでは続きまして、世界旅行ツーリズム協議会 WTTC 理事長グロリア・ゲバラ・マーソ様にご講演いただきます。ゲバラ理事長、よろしくお願いいたします。Ms. Guevara, if you please.
おはようございます。ここに来れて幸せです。Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you and an honor to represent WTTC. Thank you very much to Tourism Expo Japan and UNWTO for the invitation. Thank you to the organizers of Expo Japan, JTTA, JIATA, and JNTO, what is called the Team of Japan. Congratulations for the organization. Dear ministers, dear Surab, excellencies, friends, leaders. It's an honor for WTTC to be here today. Let me just really quick share with you who we are. WTTC, or World Travel Tourism Council, we represent the private sector globally. More than 170 CEOs and presidents of corporations are our members. We have presence in all geographies, all sectors. Airports, airlines, cruises, tour operators, travel companies, OTAs, GDSs, car rentals, digital players, and companies that also do business with travel and tourism. I would like to acknowledge Tarawa-san, who is our Vice Chair for WTTC. Thanks to his leadership, we have 30% of our members in Asia, and he has been an icon and support for WTTC. Thank you very much, Mr. Tarawa. Let me share with you some of the figures. WTTC was created 25 years ago, and since then, we do research of 185 countries from around the world. We quantify the economic impact of travel and tourism in all these 185 countries. That's how we know the contribution of travel and tourism. And while the economy in average grew 3% last year, these are, hopefully you can see the screen, 2017 figures, travel and tourism GDP grew 4.6%. Which is 50% more. If we consider direct, indirect, and induced impact, we know that travel and tourism contributes 10.4% to the global economy. That's very relevant. We're bigger than healthcare, bigger than manufacturing, bigger than agriculture, and many other sectors. 10.4% of the world GDP depends on travel and tourism. We employ 313 million people around the world, which is equivalent to 1 of every 10. 1 of every 10 jobs in the world have to do with our sector. But what's fascinating, when we understand the world that we're living, and we know that 47% of the jobs that we know today might change or disappear in the next 10 years, if we look back last year and the last 6 years, we know that for all the jobs that were created, 1 of every 5 were in our sector. This is very important. 1 of every 5 new jobs were in travel and tourism around the world. So basically, we're the best partner that the countries can have to create jobs and provide prosperity. This is really important as we all contribute to this valuable sector. Now let me share with you some figures about Asia. This region is booming, it's very impressive. Currently, based on the economic impact, Asia is the largest region in the world, measured on the economic impact, bigger than Europe and bigger than Americas. It's the number 1 in the world. Again, based in the GDP, the size of the economic in travel and tourism. The contribution of travel and tourism here is 9.8% of the economy in the region, and we support a little bit over of 9% of the jobs. And the growth last year, it was a little bit over 5%. This region also was the number 1 region in the world in terms of investments. A lot of investments came to this part of the world, more than $338 billion, which is significant and relevant. Now, what about Japan? How are we doing? And here, it's very important also because we quantify, as I say, we consider not only arrivals, but we also consider the spend. We work very closely with the countries and the organizations, and I can tell you that Japan has done a wonderful job. You should be very proud It's the fourth largest country in the world in terms of the economy for travel and tourism. Travel and tourism contributes to 6.8% of the GDP, and the jobs are 6.4%. Now, it's fascinating. When you look at the world economy, travel and tourism in the world grew 50% more than the average growth of the economy. In Japan, it was double. It was 200%. While the economy grew on average 1.7, travel and tourism grew 3.4. That's 200%. Is double. That's a very big accomplishment that has to do with the strategy, the excellent work that they are having here between the private sector, the government, and the collaboration from all of you. Now, what about the forecast? When we talk about the numbers, and I mentioned some of these global numbers, what is the future? How do we at WTTC see what's coming, what's going to happen? Well, we're anticipating that from 10.4, we're going to grow to 11.7. So our contribution to the economy of the world is going to be even bigger. From 1 in 10 jobs, we will have 1 in 9 jobs in the future related to our sector. UNWTO reported last year 1.3 billion international arrivals, and UNWTO is forecasting 1.8 billion. That's 50% more. Last year also, IATA reported that they broke a new record, 4 billion passengers. 4 billion passengers that in the next years are going to double. It's going to be to 7.8 billion passengers. That's a lot of growth. And that growth represents opportunities, but also challenges. Because how we're going to be able to capitalize on that growth and make sure that it's sustainable, is good for everyone, and has a positive impact at the end of the day. So we foresee some challenges, and these are the challenges that we asked last year to all the CEOs and the members from the private sector. They came back with these 3 things. This is what is keeping us up at night. This is what we are concerned. And it's very important to overcome these challenges to achieve the growth that we anticipate. The first one is security and travel facilitation. In the past, we never linked those two. We have to. We want to make sure that it's easy to travel, but we also have security. Second one is crisis preparedness, because it's not a matter of if or when, it's how. I second the message from Suraf and our empathy to the people impacted here a couple of weeks with the incidents. But unfortunately, it's not a matter of if. We see crises everywhere. So we need to be prepared. And Japan is a model in the case of preparation and reaction that we want to learn from. This is a priority for the private sector. We want to be engaged. And the third one has to do with sustainable growth. Let me share with you really quick our strategic framework from WTTC. And again, this is the view from the private sector globally. We have there our vision, our mission. We want to make sure that tourism is sustainable for a better world. But then also, what is it that we're doing to overcome these 3 priorities? So first one is, how do we maximize the opportunity of growth if we're not going to grow 100% in terms of airports and capacity? We have a challenge there. Technology is the solution. We should use biometrics in the entire experience. And we have an initiative called Seamless Traveler Journey, that in the near future, hopefully, you're going to need 20 minutes before to arrive to the airport instead of 3 hours. And the private sector is getting aligned, and we're working with governments for this in conjunction with visa facilitation. The second one is crisis preparedness and crisis management. And as I say, this is crucial because every week there's a crisis. And depends on how do we manage that, we minimize the impact. And WTTC, we measure that. World Health Organization, for instance, reported that more people died because of the crisis that created Ebola than from the virus. People die of starvation, people die because of the impact of the crisis than from the virus. And that tells you that we need to do a better job together, public and the private sector, managing those crises and communicate better. And the third one has to do with sustainable growth that I'll elaborate in a minute, because that's the importance of this summit and this conference. And all of that supported with a technology and a digital agenda. Now let me share a little bit about what is it that we're doing with sustainable growth. The growth has to be sustainable. It has to be good for everyone. We need to impact all the communities in a positive way. We have different initiatives. From the future of work, where we know that 47% of the jobs are going to go away, well, where are those jobs that are going to be created? Where exactly are going to be those jobs so that we can prepare our people to be able to capture those jobs and to be able to enter into the labor market really quick. Tourism for Tomorrow Awards is our recognition to the great initiatives in the sustainability. And congratulations today to the winners, by the way, and I encourage them to apply also for Tourism for Tomorrow. It's our way to recognizing also best practices. Social responsibility, because we have a responsibility. We need to reduce human trafficking. We need to reduce illegal wildlife trafficking. And in our last summit in Buenos Aires, our members signed a declaration and we have specific actions towards this goal. Climate action, very important. We created an agenda with UNFCCC for climate. This is our responsibility. From the traveler to the supplier, everyone in the middle is responsible to having a better world. And the last one, but not the least, is something called overcrowding. Overcrowding, I'm sure that you have heard what's going on in Barcelona, Venice, some of these cities that are being impacted because of their success. Sorry, so destination stewardship, it's our initiative for managing overcrowding. We partner with one of our members, McKinsey. And as I said, we also have multiple members that they do business or they work with our industry. So McKinsey did a research last year and came back with some specific recommendations. And they did an analysis. What is it that is overcrowding? Overcrowding has to do with alienating residents, impacting the experience of the tourist, impacting the assets, the nature, the culture, and we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. And they came back with some best practices, some things that they are recommending to multiple destinations. They are important. Every destination is unique. It's not one solution fits all. Every destination has to do whatever is the best for that destination, but it needs to be a plan. So they are suggesting, we are suggesting, build an update of your fact base. Very important. Crucial. Have a long-term plan, long-term strategy. We have seen over and over, when you have only a short-term plan, you're impacted. You have more people that you can manage and you're impacted. WTTC is promoting from moving from PPP to PPC, which is public and private partnership, which is crucial and very important to public-private community. We need to keep the community in the center so that we all can benefit from tourism. And of course, find new sources of funding. This is very relevant for managing overcrowding. Now, what about some examples? Well, here we have the Minister of Tourism of Mexico, Enrique, who's a good friend, and I'm glad that he continued. He has done a great job with the program called Pueblos Mágicos. Pueblos Mágicos is an initiative that engages the communities, that you give the power to the people, that they maintain their traditions, their history, their culture, and that helped their strategy in Mexico to diversify. Basically, you transfer tourism to those cities or small towns, and they benefit from that. In Japan, very similar, is an initiative called Japanese Heritage. Very successful to promote unique culture and revitalize the regions and the economies. I think both countries are very well known for the hospitality, for the culture and for the history. And these are great examples that we salute and we believe are very good. Now, what else we see? Invest in technology is crucial. I'm very impressed with what Japan has done. Yesterday, I had the chance to meet Asibo. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend to make some time to go and see this little guy. Very impressive. Because Japan is not only known for good culture, but also for technology. The best technology is being developed here. And what is going on at the airports with robots, that they are welcoming passengers, for instance, in the Tokyo International Airport, on security, that's very important. The virtual reality is also relevant. So I love all of that because that is helping us to foster more technology. Now, technology is important, but we also have to work on the plan. We also have to work in the long term. We need to control our destiny, and that's our message here today for all of you. You're doing a wonderful job in Japan, and we encourage to continue controlling your destiny. You need to plan for the tourist. Usually, we only plan for the citizens. A country that has 40 million people and suddenly receives 80 million visitors has an impact, of course, on waste, water, energy, everything. So you need to plan for the tourist. You need to plan long term to manage that, the infrastructure. How are you going to do that? You need to continue building new products. What kind of products? To diversify, so that you can go to other sides of Japan and other sides of your countries for the other ministers and maximize the opportunity. Crucial to engage with communities, and as I say before, invest in technology. Continue investing in technology. That's part of the DNA of this country, but many other countries are investing in technology to manage the crowds, to manage the volumes, and plan the experience so that tourism is good for everyone. It's good for the citizens, it's good for the travelers, it's good for the countries, and it's benefiting everyone. Next year, in Seville, Spain, we will be talking about all of this. I invite you, we meet once a year, all the leaders of the private sector, and we invite the leaders of the governments to come and spend time, April 3 to 4, basically where our leaders are going to be talking about how we are managing these challenges, how we're working with destinations that they are suffering right now, like Barcelona, for instance, or Venice, and how together we're building the solutions. Thank you very much for the invitation. We're delighted to be here, delighted to see the wonderful job that Japan is doing, travel and tourism. I want to thank once again our Vice Chair, Mr. Tagawa, the government of Japan, and the associations that they are doing a wonderful job, JTTA, JATA, GNTO, and everyone here. This is a very strategic sector for the world and for the private sector globally. So we want to continue investing in Japan and making sure that tourism is good for everyone. Arigatou gozaimasu.